If you're a junior quantity surveyor and somebody asks you, can you update the CVR? And deep down you're thinking, I don't actually fully understand what that even means. You're not alone. CVRs are one of those things everyone expects you to understand, but hardly anyone explains it properly, and really hardly anyone really understands it themselves anyway. And that's the problem, because a CVR can show whether a project is making a profit, losing money, hiding risk, overclaiming value, underreporting costs, or slowly heading towards a commercial disaster. It's not just another spreadsheet, it's one of the main reports that tells the commercial truth of a project. So in this video, I'm going to explain CVRs in plain English, what they are, why they matter, what goes inside them, and the simple way to think about them so they finally actually make sense. All right, so let's get straight into this. So first, what does a CVR actually mean? What is it? So CVR stands for cost value reconciliation. Yeah, and in plain English, it's a report that compares the value of the work done against the cost of delivering the work. Yeah, so the value of the work done versus how much it costs to actually deliver that work. That's the basic idea. Value versus cost. What we've earned versus what we've spent, and what the difference is between those two. Because that difference tells you whether the project is making or losing money. Yeah? If the value is higher than the cost, the project is making margin, or the project is making money. If the cost is higher than the value, the project is losing money. That sounds simple, but on a live construction project, it gets more complicated, because not all costs have been invoiced yet, not all changes have been agreed yet. Some subcontractors have done work but haven't submitted their applications. Some client variations may be recoverable, but they are still being negotiated. Some risks haven't happened yet, but they might happen later. So the CVR pulls all of this together and asks one big question. Are we commercially where we think we are? And then it asks a second question. By the time the project finishes, are we likely to make or lose money? That is why CVRs matter so much. A project can look busy on site, it can feel like it's going on well, and still be losing money in the background. So a CVR is the document that will help expose that. All right, so next, the simplest way to understand a CVR. So let's use a simple explanation. Imagine the client has agreed to pay you £1 million for a construction package. That £1 million that they've agreed to pay you for your construction package is your value. Now imagine the work costs you £850,000 to deliver. That would include your labor, materials, subcontractors, your prelims, your supervision, and everything else that it takes to complete the works. So if your value is 1 million and your cost is 850,000, your profit is 150,000. That gives you a 15% margin. Simple. But real projects are never that clean. On a live project, things are constantly moving. You might have costs that have been incurred, not yet invoiced. You might have changes or variations that have been instructed but not agreed. You might have subcontractor applications that need to be assessed. You might have future costs that haven't happened yet but will need to be forecast. So a good CVR is not about just looking backwards. It's also about looking forwards. It is trying to show, where are we now? What value have we earned? What costs have we incurred? What costs is still to come? What changes are agreed? What risks are sitting in the background? And what do we think the final position will be? That is the key point. A CVR is not just a record of what has already happened. It is also a forecast of where the project is heading. Now, we're going to look at cost versus value. The easiest way to understand the CVR is to split it into two sides. You've got one side, you have the value, and on the other side, you have the cost. Value is what you think you're entitled to be paid, or what you expect to recover from your client. That might include the original contract price or sum, agreed variation, compensation events, claims, measured work done, applications for payment, and your forecast value to completion. Cost is what you have spent. So what you've spent, what you're committed spending, or what you expect to deliver. That might include subcontractor costs, labor, plant, material, prelim, supervision, design costs, temporary works, accruals, risk allowance, and cost to complete. So yeah, the CVR brings all this together, and the difference between the two gives you your commercial position. But here's where junior QSs often get caught out. The CVR is not just about what has been paid, and it's not just about what has been invoiced, because payment and true value are not always the same, and invoices received and true costs are not always the same either. That is why CVRs require commercial judgment. Okay, so why payment is not always true. Let's say you apply to the client for 500 grand. The client certifies 450 grand. Does that automatically mean that the true value of the work is £450,000? Not always. It might mean the client has undervalued the work. It might mean you over applied. It might mean there's a dispute. It might mean backup information is missing, or it might mean some change has not been agreed yet. So when you are preparing a CVR, you need to understand the realistic value of the work, not just blindly copy the payment certificate. For example, the client may have certified 450 grand, but internally you believe that the true value is 480 grand because 30 grand relates to work completed but not yet certified, for example. But you need evidence. You can't just add value because you want the project to look better. Every number in a CVR should have basis, should have backup. That could be measurement, variation, subcontractor assessment, a contract clause, a change register, a forecast. Because when someone challenges a CVR, and they will, you need to be able to explain where the numbers are coming from. Next section. Why invoices are not always true cost. So the same applies to cost. Because an invoice has not arrived, that does not mean the cost does not exist. Yeah. For example, a subcontractor may have completed £40,000 worth of work in March, but only invoiced 25,000 by the time you prepare the report, the CVR report. Yeah. If your CVR is reporting the March position, you may still need to recognize the remaining 15 grand. This is where accruals come in. An accrual is basically recognizing a cost that has been incurred but not yet invoiced. In plain English, what this means is we know this cost belongs to this period, even though the invoice has not arrived yet. If you don't accrue properly, the project can look more profitable than it really is. Then the invoice lands later and suddenly the margin drops. That is bad commercial reporting. So a good CVR needs to capture costs already paid, costs invoiced but not paid, costs incurred but not yet invoiced, and costs still required to complete the project. This is why CVRs are not just admin. They are commercial control. Next, forecast final position. Now, this is one of the most important parts. A good CVR does not just ask, are we making money today? It asks, are we still going to be making money at the end? That is where the forecast final position comes in. The forecast final position looks at the final value you expect to recover and the final cost you expect to spend. For example, your project might currently show 500,000 value to date and 430,000 cost to date. So right now, it looks like there is 70,000 margin. But when you look ahead and realize that there's still 300,000 pounds worth of work remaining. The subcontractor has warned costs are increasing. Prelims are running longer than planned. And there are variations that may not be fully recoverable. Suddenly, the final position may not look so strong. That is why the forecast is so important. Senior managers care about CVRs because they show where the project is exposed, where margin is being lost, where packages are underperforming, which changes are not agreed, and what action needs to be taken before it is too late. A good CVR gives visibility, a bad CVR hides the truth until problems become painful. So what goes into a good CVR? Different companies use different formats, but most CVRs will include some version of the following. You usually have the original contract sum, then approved changes, such as agreed variations or compensation events, then anticipated change, which is change you believe may be recoverable but has not yet been fully agreed yet. You also have value to date, cost to date, accruals, cost to completion, forecast final cost, forecast final value, and then the margin. Some CVRs may also include risk, opportunity, cash flow, subcontract liabilities, overclaims, underclaims, disallowed costs, and commercial commentary. And the last point is important. A CVR should not just be a dump of numbers. It should tell the commercial story of the project. If the margin has moved, why has it moved? If cost has increased, what has caused it? If value has increased, is it as agreed or just anticipated? If the forecast has worsened, what is being done about it? That is where the QS adds real value. Not just entering numbers, but explaining what the numbers actually mean. So let's look at a simple CVR example. Let's use, so the original contract sum is $1 million. Approved variations are 100,000. So your agreed contract value is 1,100,000. Now let's say you believe there's another 50,000 of change that should be recoverable, but it has not been agreed yet. So your forecast final value might be 1,150,000. And so if your forecast final value is 1,150,000 and your forecast final cost is 1 million, your forecast final margin is 150,000. That looks like a profitable project. But now the important questions. Is that 50,000 anticipated change actually recoverable? Is the 350,000 cost to completion realistic? Have we included enough prelims? Have subcontractors submitted all their costs? Are there any disputed items? Are there risks that could reduce the margin? Because if that 50,000 change gets rejected, your margin drops. If the remaining work costs more than expected, your margin drops again. If both happen, the final margin can fall very, very quickly. That is why CVRs are so important. They show not just the number, but the quality of the number. Next, we'll look at common CVR mistakes. Here are some common mistakes junior QSs make. Mistake number 1, treating the CVR like a data entry exercise. The CVR is not just copying numbers from one place to another. You need to understand what the numbers actually mean. Mistake number 2, not accruing costs properly. If work has to be done but the invoice has not arrived yet, ignoring that cost can make the project look healthier than it really is. Mistake number 3, being too optimistic with change. It can be tempted to include unagreed variations because it improves the margin, but unless there is a strong basis for recovery, you may be overstating the position. Mistake number 4, not updating the cost to completion. Some QSs focus on the cost to date but forget the remaining cost. This is dangerous because future cost is often where the risk sits. Mistake number 5 is weak commentary. Senior management do not just want to know that margin moved, they want to know why it moved, what caused it, and what action is being taken. So, final message. CVR stands for cost value reconciliation. It compares value against cost. It shows whether a project is making or losing money, but more importantly, it helps forecast where the project is heading commercially. A good CVR doesn't just record the past, it explains the present and tries to predict the future. It captures value, it captures costs, it captures accruals, it considers change, it shows margin, etc. It basically tells the commercial story of the project. So if you're a junior QS, don't be intimidated by CVRs. Underneath all the columns and the formulas, the core question is really simple. What are we earning? What are we spending? And what will be left at the end is essentially it. If you can understand that and explain the movements clearly, you're already starting to think like a proper commercial QS. So yeah, if you're just a junior QS, aspiring QS, you want to get to quantity surveying, or if you're already in it and you value, if you want more plain English explanation, subscribe to the channel, comment below, let me know what topic you want me to cover next. And yeah, I'll speak to you guys in the next video. Out.